do something a little different tonight. I want to talk about friendship, if I could, because it's something that the theme of it keeps coming across me over the last few weeks, and I just kind of want to think about it, analyze it, and so basically this particular vid, I have nothing to say right now. I'm just going to be thinking out loud. I want to start with an incident that happened about 6 or 8 weeks ago with a real good friend of mine, probably my best friend at the time. When she suddenly, on telling her what was probably going to happen here at home, that I was going to be leaving, she formulated something in her mind that wasn't necessarily on the up and up, and then panicked about it, it seemed, and started sending some very inflammatory emails to me, trying to correct me from an error that I wasn't making in the first place. And I kept answering her, saying, no, that's not the case, I'm not doing that. And the emails kept coming and got worse and worse until finally she declared the friendship over it and demanded that I not contact her anymore. And I have tried once and she ignored it. So whatever structure she built in her head, she held me to it. I am not sure what it was. There was some indications there was something else going on too. I never did figure it out. I lost a friend over it, and that's always a very sad thing. So, lesson there. True friends should always go out of their way to work out difficulties. I think that is the lesson on that one. Second, as a guy that lives here in Richmond, that was a very good friend, not only of mine, but also of my friend David that died, that I spoke about in the spiritual journey vids. And when I discovered that David had died, I walked outside the coffee shop I was in and called him on the phone. And it turned out that he had actually tried to tell me he knew about it. And I had not taken his calls, thinking he was calling on something else, and I was sick at the time, and it just wasn't up to talking to him. But he's now a busy attorney, very well paid. He dropped everything that he was doing immediately and stayed on the telephone with me until I had had time to cope with what was going on. So that's what a friend does. And I know I've done that hundreds of times for people, things of that nature. So lesson 2 maybe. A true friend is there when you need them. Third, our friend John, also I talked about in the Spirit Journey videos. John and I just talked 5 minutes ago, as a matter of fact. And we still do not see eye to eye on a lot of things. But it's still okay that we don't. And I think the lesson there is that true friendship transcends normal ideas and normal events. because you're a friend for who the person is, not what they think or what happens. A couple of nights last week I spent with a friend of mine named Teresa. Teresa has a fit herself getting along. She lives on disability and doesn't have much money, and her boyfriend also lives on disability, and their lifestyle is radical, to say the least. I've helped them many times in the past. Teresa called me at one point years back and said that the government wouldn't let her have her disability checks unless she had a representative payee. And her parents had said no, they wouldn't do it for her. That she could get a service to do it, but she'd rather pay me the money. And I said, well, no. So I'd be glad to do it, but I wouldn't take any money for it. So I got set up as that, and over the years I have taught her how to budget. I have taught her, how to handle a checkbook properly, and this and that, and she is doing a very good job now handling her finances. All she needed was a little bit of help and training, somebody to spend some time with her. So when I needed somewhere to crash for a couple of nights, that's who I called. And she said, fine, come in. I've got an art room. We'll put a pallet in there. And I was perfectly happy. It was just a lot more comfortable than my tent was. And they welcomed me into their house. They were excited to have me there. So the lesson there is that a friend is always glad to see you. And a friend is there when you need them. There's some other things I think of when I think of friend. Because friendship and love are in many ways exactly the same thing. Except friendship is without an ulterior motive, which love sometimes has. Friendship just is people that thrill to being together, that see value in each other. I've found a lot of friends here on YouTube. Some wonderful friends. Some wonderful people. Some friends I would hate to lose. I've seen friends make sacrifices for me here on YouTube. And I've done the same in return. Even though it's just over a computer. I mean, to me, everyone here, whether they're a picture like this, or whether they're words on an email, they're not something I can turn off with a switch. They're not something I can hit the button on my monitor and they go away and they're not people anymore. Real, living, breathing human beings. More important than anything in the world. And that's what I see. Every one of them valuable. Every one of them someone that is good to know. Every one of them good to have as a friend, maybe. That's what I see.